He told everyone we broke up 4 months ago. We were celebrating our anniversary in Italy just last month. It had been 7 years since she first laid eyes on him. 7 years of laughter, shared dreams, and whispered promises. But now those years felt like an illusion, a mirage that had vanished with the harsh light of reality. She sat on the edge of the bed, her heart pounding in her chest, a void of disbelief swallowing her whole. The room around her, once a sanctuary of love, now felt cold and unfamiliar, every photo and piece of furniture seemingly mocking her naivety. Their shared apartment was quiet, the kind of silence that pressed down on her, heavy and suffocating. The walls, once echoing with their shared joy and occasional disagreements, now only reverberated with a single question. How could she have missed it? How could she have been so blind? The day had begun like any other. The sun filtering through the curtains had nudged her awake, and she had gone about her morning routine, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing just beneath the surface. Her boyfriend, or rather the man she thought she knew, was visiting his family in their home state. It was a trip he had been making with increasing frequency, each time with a simple explanation. His grandparents missed him. She never questioned it. Why would she? Trust had been the foundation of their relationship. Or so she thought. It was a message from a mutual friend that shattered her world. A simple screenshot of his location on Snapchat, innocuous at first glance, but then she noticed the detail that turned her stomach. He was indeed at his parents' house, but there was another Bitmoji beside his. A girl's. Someone she didn't recognize. It wasn't his sister, not his mother, and his parents weren't even home. Her throat tightened as she dialed his number, desperation clawing at her insides. Each unanswered ring was a punch to her gut, a confirmation of her worst fears. And then his location disappeared from Snapchat altogether. A silence more damning than any confession. Her mind raced, the room spinning as she tried to piece it all together. She reached out to the friend who had sent the screenshot, hoping for some explanation, some misunderstanding. But what she learned was far worse. Her boyfriend, the man she had built a life with, had told everyone back home that they were no longer together. Apparently, they had broken up 4 months ago, and he was merely waiting for the right moment to tell her. Her breath hitched, a mix of anger and humiliation burning her cheeks. How many people knew? How long had she been the unwitting fool? And the final nail in the coffin came not long after. An old friend from her hometown, someone she hadn't spoken to in years, confirmed the betrayal. Her boyfriend was on Tinder, his profile plastered with photos she had taken, their memories twisted into a grotesque parody of their life together. One picture, in particular, made her heart twist with a sickening realization. It was a photo of them together, her face crudely covered, captioned with the words, "This could be you." She sat there, phone in hand, the evidence of his deceit laid bare. How had she been so blind? How had she missed the signs? She thought of their recent trip to Italy, the celebration of their anniversary, the laughter they shared over candlelit dinners, the way he had held her close as they watched the sun set over the Tuscan hills. Had it all been a lie? The hurt was paralyzing at first, a weight that pinned her to the bed, her mind unable to process the enormity of it all. But then slowly anger bubbled to the surface, a fiery determination that fueled her resolve. She couldn't stay here, in this place tainted by betrayal. She couldn't let him have the satisfaction of seeing her broken. Her best friend arrived not long after, a whirlwind of supportive energy that helped her pack her things. The apartment, once filled with their shared life, was slowly stripped of her presence. Clothes were folded, toiletries gathered, memories packed away with shaking hands. The dog, their loyal companion, watched with soulful eyes, sensing the shift in the air. She would take him with her. He was a part of her life too, a piece of her heart that she refused to leave behind. The logistics of unraveling their life together were daunting, but she approached them with a steely focus. Their bank accounts were already separate, a small mercy in this storm of betrayal. The joint account, with its meager balance, she left to him without a second thought. She earned more, and the money was no longer a concern. The lease on the apartment was another matter, but she would deal with that in due time. An email to the leasing office, a request for early termination, sent with a click of a button. It was Sunday and the office was closed, but she would follow up on Monday, face the mess head-on. Their partnership was not just emotional, but legal, registered as domestic partners. It was a detail she had almost forgotten in the chaos, but now it demanded her attention. The termination form sat heavily in her hands, a symbol of the end of something she once held dear. She would drive it to the county office the next day, severing the last of their formal ties. Her heart twisted at the thought of their photo albums, the evidence of a life once shared. Each picture, each captured moment, was now tainted with his betrayal. Keeping them would be too painful, yet the thought of him having them, using them in the same cavalier way he had on Tinder, was unbearable. She hadn't decided what to do with them yet, and that unresolved question gnawed at her as she continued to pack. As she moved through the apartment, she felt a strange sense of detachment, as if she were watching someone else live this nightmare. Nothing made sense. Her thoughts a jumbled mess of pain and disbelief. But one thing was clear. She couldn't stay. She needed to erase herself from this place, from this chapter of her life that had turned so dark. As she packed the last of her belongings, she allowed herself a moment of reflection. 7 years. It felt like a lifetime, yet now it seemed so fleeting, like grains of sand slipping through her fingers. She had given so much of herself to this relationship, to him, and now she had to find a way to reclaim her life, to rediscover who she was without him. The thought of disappearing from his life, of leaving without a trace, brought a sense of relief. It was a chance to start anew, to build a life that was hers and hers alone. She knew it wouldn't be easy. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges she couldn't yet foresee. But she also knew she was stronger than she felt in this moment, that she would find her way through this darkness. With one last look around the apartment, she took a deep breath, letting the weight of the past slip from her shoulders. She had been hurt, betrayed in the most profound way, but she refused to let it define her. She was more than this pain, more than the sum of his lies. She was ready to move forward, to carve out a new path, one step at a time. And with that, she closed the door behind her, stepping into the unknown with a heart that, though bruised, still beat with hope and resilience. She was erasing herself from his life, but in doing so, she was finding herself anew. The future was hers to write, and she was ready to begin. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the apartment floor, painting the walls with memories of better times. As she stood there, contemplating the life she was about to leave behind, a myriad of emotions flickered across her mind like a kaleidoscope, each twist and turn revealing a new painful fragment of the past 7 years. She thought about the moments of joy that had punctuated their life together. The lazy Sunday mornings spent tangled in sheets, the impromptu road trips, and the whispered promises of forever. How had they unraveled so completely without her noticing? She had always prided herself on being perceptive, yet this betrayal had blindsided her, leaving her questioning everything she thought she knew. Her best friend, sensing the turmoil within her, placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Hey," she said softly, "you're doing the right thing. You deserve so much more than this." The words were meant to be reassuring, but they also highlighted the chasm that now stretched between what was and what could have been. She nodded, grateful for the support, yet unable to shake the feeling of loss that hung heavily in the air. As they continued to pack, her thoughts drifted to the life she had envisioned for herself. She had imagined a future filled with laughter and love, one where they would grow together, building a life that was rich with shared experiences and mutual respect. But now those dreams lay shattered at her feet, replaced by a reality she had never anticipated. She glanced at the clock, realizing that time was slipping away. Her soon-to-be ex would be landing soon, and she wanted to be gone long before he set foot in the apartment. The thought of facing him, of being confronted with his lies, was unbearable. She needed to leave this place of deceit and forge a new path for herself. Her dog, sensing the tension, padded over and nuzzled her hand. She crouched down, wrapping her arms around him, finding solace in his uncomplicated loyalty. "We're going to be okay," she whispered into his fur, as much a promise to him as it was to herself. With her belongings finally packed, she took a moment to consider the photo albums once more. They were a tangible reminder of a love that she had believed to be real, and yet now they felt like chains anchoring her to a past she needed to escape. In a moment of clarity, she decided to leave them behind. Let him deal with the remnants of their shared history. She had no use for memories tainted by betrayal. The decision brought a strange sense of liberation. She was reclaiming her life, piece by piece, shedding the weight of a relationship that no longer served her. It was time to move forward, to embrace the unknown with courage and determination. As she closed the apartment door for the last time, she felt a surge of empowerment. She was stepping into a future that was hers to shape, free from the shadows of deceit. The road ahead was uncertain, but it was also filled with possibility. Her heart, though bruised, was still capable of hope. She was ready to love herself fiercely, to build a life that was authentic and fulfilling. And with each step she took away from the apartment, she left behind the remnants of a relationship that had crumbled under the weight of lies. The world was vast and full of promise, and she was ready to embrace it with open arms. She was erasing herself from his life, but in doing so, she was discovering the strength and resilience that lay within her. The future was unwritten, and she was poised to begin a new chapter, one where she would be the author of her own story. Follow for more stories